Okay, Luis, do you have any questions about the method section or instruments? Anything related to the feedback?
Uh, no, I already checked the comments
Okay.
and no, I didn't have any questions. I just wanted to show you this because I already applied some of the questionnaires,
Okay.
but there are missing some. So I will apply these ones today.
Okay.
But I was thinking about applying these instruments in other maybe universities or.
All right. How many do you have answered? How many questionnaires do you have answered? And I guess who are willing to participate in your research?
10.
Okay. And are most of them willing to participate, or are there
Yeah.
some that are not?
Yes, this 1, 2, 3. 9.
9s that are willing to participate? Okay. Have you had a chance to analyze, look at this data to see if there are some potential?
Not yet.
Okay. One option is to evaluate what you have so far to see if you can find a couple that you feel would be good for your study and just go with those two and not worry about the rest. If you evaluate those and you still really don't find good participants or good reasons to focus on these participants, then you might need to consider applying the rest. But I would start with these in hopes that you can find maybe 2 or 3 participants. Okay, so that you don't have to spend more time with those. But you know, at the end of the day, you need to find potentially good candidates so that you hopefully get the information you need to answer your research questions. So.
Because the majority of these ones, of these participants, have not too much experience. Okay, these people don't have a lot of experience. So.
Are they your classmates?
Yes. Well, some of them has 3 years, 2 years.
Okay.
4 years is.
Okay.
The one who has more.
That by itself is not an issue. It's not a problem. Just that by itself. But you need to look at all the information to see, if you find something interesting about those participants. So I would say that it's not necessarily a good or bad thing that they're all have less than 4 years of experience. You need to look at all the information and look for something that's unique in some way, something that's interesting, different, pertaining to your research questions, or something that you want to know more about that relate to your research questions. And if you find it in those 9, you find 2 that are really stand out for some reason, then choose those 2. And you can include in your participant section, you can state why you chose those 2 based on how they answered this questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
So I would start with that. And again, if you think that you just can't find those participants with what you have, then you may have to consider applying more. But I'd rather the bottom line is you need to try to find those participants this week and begin this week on your data collection. That's what you would need to shoot for. Because we only have 3 weeks for data collection, 3.5 weeks. So,
ok,
¿cómo ves?
No, está bien. Es que bueno, lo que no quería de que dijeran, pero es que son puros compañeros tuyos, porque he escuchado comentarios de que algunos otros tutores dicen que mejor de aquí no, para no evitar. Entonces quería buscar en otro lugar. Igual
el contenido que tienes aquí es la diferencia, es lo que cuenta.
Lo que te avala.
Estás preguntando de experiencia. La experiencia en sí, o que son tus compañeros o no, o todos son de aquí, de la universidad o no, así solo no es suficiente para decir que sí está bien o mal eso. Tiene que juntar toda la información, sí,
justificarlo.
y también el contenido, las preguntas, más que nada, el cuestionario así, ¿cómo está contestando? Y si tú lo ves así, mira, contesta sí, pero luego contesta sí. Pues quiero, y ese está muy relacionado a mis preguntas de investigación, pues voy a escoger para entender porque está raro que está contestando de esta forma. ¿Me explico? Más que si son mis compañeros o no, o si tienen X años de experiencia o no. Más de eso, es más cómo está contestando este instrumento. Y que tú puedes justificarlo así. Puedes decir, sí, son mis compañeros, pero contestaron así y yo quiero investigar eso. Está raro que está contestando así y por eso escogí estas participantes, estas personas. ¿Sí? De hecho, es la razón que estamos haciendo este paso, este instrumento, para que tú puedas justificar sí, que no es... La otra opción es no utilicen ese instrumento y tú estás escogiendo a tus compañeros, ahora sí, pues... Pero si tú puedes decir, sí, son mis compañeros, pero escogí estas personas para esta razón relacionada a mi investigación, ahora es otra cosa. Ahora sí, ¿está bien? ¿Ves la diferencia? Sí, entonces, sí, hay algunas que tal vez estoy hablando en este sentido, pues cuidar con o tal vez mejor en otros, pero depende, cada caso es diferente y dependiendo en las preguntas de investigación, también los instrumentos que están utilizando, etc. Pero en tu caso, utilizas Y ahora es tiempo, puedes analizar lo que tienes, no tienes que esperar hasta que tienes X números de instrumentos, no. Tú evalúas así, en esta manera, en este caso con los 9, y ver desde ahí si hay algo, ¿verdad? Que te sirve. Entonces estoy viendo... Por ejemplo, este es interesante porque la primera frase es: My students find it difficult to transfer their grammatical knowledge into communicative language use. They strongly, they strongly agree, so they strongly agree with that, so it's a big problem. But then they also say they feel strongly that their students are motivated by problem-solving techniques, and they feel strongly about my students expect teachers to present grammar points explicitly. So, right there, it's something interesting there, just in those three questions. And this is just an example. Tú tienes que analizar todo. Pero ese es un ejemplo. They feel strongly that they find it very difficult, so they have a hard time with changing the grammatical things that they learn into a communicative situation. They find it very difficult. But they also say that they're motivated to learn with problem-solving techniques. So problem-solving techniques is more based on communicative than grammatical, because you're focused on the problem, you're not focused on the grammar. You're focused on problem-solving, right? So they feel they're really motivated to solve problems, but yet the teacher speaks explicitly, right? Teachers es como lo contrario. Yo veo así, como mi interpretación es así. en este caso con esos tres. Entonces, es lo que tú tienes que hacer con todos. Esos nada más son tres criterios. Tú evalúas todo, pero es lo que estás viendo. Me contestó así, pero luego contesté sí. No, no entiendo. O está raro, o interesante, o diferente. ¿Verdad? Tal vez no es raro, pero tal vez es diferente de lo que como está contestando todo el demás. ¿Sí? Lo que tú estás buscando es un caso, o algunos casos, dos casos, tres casos que son así diferente, o raro, o interesante. ¿Sí?
Y este mismo cuestionario que tengo yo aquí podría cambiarlo, pero para los alumnos,
Si puedes
pero en
modificar o
español, ¿no?
adaptar, si puedes adaptarlo, ¿verdad?
Ujú.
Sí, sí.
Y dejarlo también en español. Si
Bueno, tú
son
evalúas,
basic.
ver como por edad, nivel, y el tiempo que lo vas a llevar para traducirlo. Y ya
Ujú.
con eso tú decides si es en español o en inglés. Pero puede ser cualquiera de los dos. Pero, eh, sí, entonces estoy viendo así muy rápido su- sus instrumentos. Y como poco contestó así muy fuerte así de la primera.
Ujú.
So, if they don't find it difficult, tal vez no es tan importante evaluarlos, ¿verdad? Sí, por ejemplo, aquí. Si dice que no, my students find it difficult, I disagree. So I find it difficult, that means they find it easy to transfer. Entonces, tal vez no, ¿verdad?
Ujú. Eso no.
Tal vez no, como no tanto, porque tú quieres investigar
Los
que tienen problemas. Pues mínimo por la perspectiva del maestro. Es lo que vas a investigar, pero aquí, si contestan así, pues. Y hay algunos que tal vez son más importantes de otros. Tú tienes que evaluar eso. Pero eso es lo que tienes que hacer. Entonces, por ejemplo, esos dos, nada más con la primera, pues ponen así, pues investigues esta vez. Y esos son, sí, 3, 3, 3, ese es 4, tal vez 4, 4, ¿verdad? Sí. Y ya desde ahí ves así.
¿Cuál de esos?
Ajá. Esa es una manera,
Ujú.
¿verdad? Y ya cuando termines vas a decir, yo escogí estas dos participantes porque dijeron y este. No tienes que hablar así de todo, pero sí, uno de los conceptos principales es lo que vas a utilizar desde aquí para justificar tu decisión. ¿Me explico?
Sí. Ujú.
So, I would evaluate because you've got 9 here. That's and they're all from this university. If you want to just focus here at this university, that's certainly an option. Just focus on this and see if you have it. If you still feel like you're not really sure, you don't really quite have the participants that you need, then you may need to apply more. But the idea, again, is to find those participants who are likely to give you the information you need.
Ujú.
Okay.
Because just like 4 of them are working here.
Oh, so some of them are not
Some of
working.
them are working
Okay,
in
sorry.
Limatec and other.
Bueno, pues tú decides, pues ya de ver. Sí, yo estoy pensando primero con este criterio. Ya desde ahí pienso si es factible a observar estos dos maestros con dos instituciones, si es así.
Pero aquí en este se dice, en el número 1 dice, my students find it difficult. 5 is strongly disagree, ¿no?
If you strongly agree, mark a 5. They strongly agree, ¿verdad?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So they're saying, oh yeah, it's very difficult. My students, that's how I understand this.
Mm-hmm. Sí.
And then they say, 1 is disagree, so they disagree. My students prefer English grammar with one sentence examples. I mean, this is number 4. Look at this. So this is like interesting for me, right? My students prefer to learn grammar with one sentence examples. So they really they would say, teacher, I want one sentence examples on the board. That's how I understand this question. That's how I would interpret it if I was filling this out. One sentence on the board. They like that. My students prefer that. So one teacher says, yes, I strongly agree. This one says, either way. 4, totally disagree. Totally disagree. Kind of in the middle. Totally disagree. That's another in the middle. Kind of agree. So, I mean, you've got some good choices here. I mean, you've got differences here. So, I think you can find. You should be able to find. I think you can find what you're looking for here. I really do. Just based on what I'm saying here, just very quickly. Students prefer to find matching. Students find it difficult to handle grammar within authentic text. Okay, so that's another thing. That's number 6. 6. 6. Like here, this is interesting. 6. They say strongly disagree. My students find it difficult to handle grammar with authentic text. Totally disagree. So I understand this to mean that this teacher says that the students really like using authentic text. That it's not difficult for them. They find it easy. So that might be another thing. See, so that's what I would do is kind of go through these really and find out, which combinations here, because you're really looking for combinations. It's not really just taking one of these by themselves. It's looking at the combination and say, well, they answer this way here and this way like this. They answer this way like this, and that's I don't get that. See what I mean? Or maybe this you say, okay, that's something I really need to find out about. Whatever. Okay. So what you need to do today is go through here and decide on your 2 participants. Hopefully today or tomorrow you talk to these teachers and start planning your data collection for the next 3 weeks. And begin the process of your observations and interviews for those two teachers. The rest of these questionnaires that are not your participants, you will not use. Okay? You'll only use the information from these questionnaires from those 2 or 3 participants that you choose for your study. But you will use those. You'll use all of these. So when you schedule your interview, you probably will have observed some classes. You will have the data, the information from your questionnaires. So when you plan for your interview, you want to take the information from the questionnaires and your observations, figure out, okay, what am I going to ask? I have both of these data sources. What am I going to ask in the interview to better understand what I observed and what they said in the questionnaire?
And for example, these 2 teachers has the same level. They have the same level and the same students, but the responses or the answers are kind of different. Can I
so these are your classmates, and so your classmates, these 2 classmates, are teaching the same group.
One group, yeah.
See? Okay. And then they answer differently. How long have they been with this group since
Since the beginning
January?
of the semester.
And they are the only 2 teachers for this group.
Yes.
And they take turns teaching the class?
Because, well, I checked the research in which I was based on, and they compare also the gender. So one is a girl and the other one is a boy. So I don't know if it is good to compare these 2 teachers in the same.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? You said you read some other literature.
Yes.
About
another research. Actually, this instrument was took by from this
research
research that I Totally.
And they research the difference between gender
and qualification and experience. Todo eso estuvieron checando.
Okay. So differences like in how they interpreted their students type of thing?
Yes. According to gender.
Okay.
Pero
Well,
no sé
then,
si, pero no sé si ya sea como demasiadas cosas así como...
Bueno, sí, tienes que
ir limitando
limitarlo, pero también de una forma es como un tipo exploratorio. It's kind of exploratory research. There's certain things you're not really sure that you're going to find. But in this case, right, that's what I would do. Choose, for example, if they answered somewhat differently. Now I'm just kind of some things are different. How did you apply these at the same time, each teacher? So there's no way that they could have collaborated afterwards. Okay. I mean, some things are not that different. Some things are, right? Some things are like this. Like number 4 is a little bit different. 4 is different. I wouldn't really, if they're only one off, I wouldn't say that they're different. 2, there's 2 things. So 4, 9, 4, 9, 12, 13's different. And 16. So how many did I mention? Like 4 or 5 things? So you only focus on those 4 or 5 things. And maybe it's, explicit. So like some things they didn't even answer the question, right? I mean, I don't think they answered the question here. But you might focus more on understanding those 4 or 5 points here that are different. And maybe analyze it, maybe they fall into general categories, but
because there is another student teacher who is teaching the same level but in another group. I don't know if I can like compare those 3 teachers.
Well,
with the same
okay, I
level.
think you decide here. I think you have 2 options. One option is you choose like this, same group, 2 teachers, 2 genders, and just observe the similarities and differences between these based on your research questions. That's one option. Or you choose 2 different teachers from 2 different groups, but for a different reason, based on the same criteria. Maybe maybe it's not so much the gender difference. Maybe it's just compare and contrast 2 different. Whereas this would be more based on gender because it's the same group, same students. They're even planning together. They're team teaching basically. So this would be more focused on interpretation of the differences between the genders. But either way, what I think is what's going to matter most are these statements that you have in your instrument. So I would look at these 4 or 5 differences here, and then look at 2 different scenarios, 2 different teachers, and look at the differences and see which ones are more interesting and which ones are or more surprising or something that interests you most. Right? But I think you have 2 options. You can go either way.
Okay.
But you need to make that decision
today.
Like, yeah. Right? So you can, ideally you really need to like today, between today and tomorrow, start talking to those 2 teachers and plan and start collecting data. That's the thing. Okay, so I'm not going to be in my office Thursday or Friday, but if you have doubts between today and tomorrow, see me again if you're not sure about who you need to select, but you really need to select your participants between today and tomorrow, if possible. Now, if you feel, I really think you can use this. I really don't think you need to apply more questionnaires. Okay, so I think that you should have what you need here. And I think it'd be interesting to select 2 teachers that are teaching the same group, really to see how they interpret the same, more or less the same class, same experience. And you could, are you focusing on the students at all? Are you going to interview the students at all?
Yes, I'm focused on students too.
So,
about the problems they have and compare the perceptions.
Okay, so you're also comparing the perceptions between the students and the teachers. So here you would be doing kind of a comparison about their interpretation of each of these 2 students. Student teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see. So yeah, your comparison is not going to be between the students and 1 teacher; it'll be between the students and 2 teachers. But that's something.
¿Cree que sea como una buena opción?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I want you to evaluate all of these 9. Because there might be like 2 teachers that you're like, wow, these are 2 different. I really want, so if there's something else that and this is really just your personal choice, and always think of the research questions. You really want to find the participants that are going to give you the information that you need. I mean, that's why we're doing all this. And you really need to take the time to make a good decision here, because if you make the wrong decision, you may say, well, I'm observing, but I'm not getting information. I'm having an interview, but I'm still not getting the information. That's what I don't want to happen, right? That's what we're trying to avoid. So, this is one option. Just look at all of them and see which one really grabs you, something that really interests you. If you're still not sure, see me tomorrow or later today or tomorrow. And we can discuss it. But I really want you to kind of look and analyze this first, and take these, point by point, and kind of figure out, and analyze how they answer here. Not so much about where they go to school, even their years of experience. Really less about the information you have in your head at first. First, it's these statements that you have here, and then you can go back here and say, okay, how would I do this? In this case, you might, you already know that they already teach the same class, and it's a little bit different. But when you look at the rest of these, just look at them one at a time, and just look and see how they compare and contrast, and then make a decision. Okay, and again, you compare across between the 2 individuals, and you're also analyzing within the same. All right, and you're looking at maybe some things that they answered interestingly, or
so. Because I have observed some of their classes, and they use a lot of translation.
But put that aside, because we can't use that. Okay. Even though you have prior knowledge, whatever prior knowledge you have of any of these teachers doesn't enter into your analysis. Okay, we have to be very systematic about how we collect the data. So this is your first data, and only this is what you're using. Right? Even though you may know these teachers, you need to try to put that aside. Okay, use this information. If it comes up, if what you know about these teachers comes up later, fine. But we can't use what you know prior. We're going to use only whatever you have systematically collected in the process. All right, so let's begin there, and go ahead and start planning and scheduling your time over the next 3 weeks once you have selected the participants. starting, with with your data process. I think you're going to begin with the observations. I think, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But work very closely with each participant, each teacher, and try to, as best you can, plan on all the observations, interviews, both with the teachers and students. Try to come up with a plan. And then as things change, that's fine, but that you and the teacher are on the same page and that they agree, right? Because you may say, well, I want to do this, and this way, and they may say, well, this may be difficult, or so you need to work with the teachers and plan that and see, check on based on their availability what's possible and what's not. So you don't have some expectation that you're going to be doing all these things, but they're not going to be able or willing to do that. Okay. So let's do that, and you let me know at any point if you're not sure about how to proceed. We need to have a discussion, right? And I'll be checking my emails on Thursday and Friday if it's something that we can handle via email. But if it's something right now that's dealing with choosing participants, we probably need to have a real discussion, a face-to-face discussion. So just come by my office, right? We can discuss it.
Profe, aquí este instrument, el cuestionario, yo lo tomé de un research donde vi eso. Pero seguí leyendo y decía que ese mismo instrumento lo había tomado de otro autor.
Okay.
Donde yo lo tomé, esa persona lo tomó de otro autor.
So it's just like as cited in. I don't know if in your case, if you had any citations in your literature review, as cited in es la misma manera. So you're going to first quote or cite the original author,
Okay.
and then you're going to put as cited in, and then put where the book or where you found it, the article, and in the references you're going to include the citation that you put as cited in. So as cited in goes in your references. That source, not the source, not the original source. If I want to find, or if the reader wants to find that original source, they go to as cited in, that reference, and there they should have the original source. And you just kind of go back in that way. Congress. Okay, any other questions, concerns, doubts?
No, that's okay.
All right, so let me know how things are going, and if I don't talk to you this week, then I'll see you next week, and we'll discuss what information, data that you have at that point. Always bring in anything you want if we need to look at it, or if you have doubts about how to analyze it. But as you progress, kind of always do a quick analysis and reflection to see, okay, am I getting the information I need, and what do I need to do differently, perhaps, in the future to compensate for what I have. Okay, so you're constantly evaluating. It's not just collect the data and then after 3 weeks say, oh, now I'm going to look and analyze it. You need to kind of try to analyze it as you go as best you can so that you can know where you're going, if you're getting what you need, and if you need to make any changes.
Okay.
All right, then. We'll see you. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right.
See you.
See you later.